a sacrifice.
No, it's not.
I consider it a sacrifice. I
sure
sure do, and that's why I'm talking about it, because it's something that they did. It is important. People make all sorts of choices to serve. Yes, including going in the U.S. military. Including going into the U.S. military that doesn't pay more than $2.35 per hour as an E1, E2, E3. You don't even get, but that's it. That doesn't allow the care of a family.
No. Care of a family is one thing.
No, your salary should take care of you. You should not be going to work to live in poverty. Okay. So if you're living in poverty and you can't support your family, then you do make drastic decisions. Drastic measures call for drastic decisions, and that's what happened.
Drastic measure.
Yes, it was.
That was not even a cause for investigation.
Yeah, it was. If you're an E8 and only earning $7.35 an hour, that is drastic.
Stop making babies and think the government got to keep on supporting them.
Well, he's working. The person's working for a living. Pay the person, and then they can have their family.
Okay, but the same thing as
all right. If you feel that way, go tell that dead justice that just had 9 kids. Go tell the dead justice that because he's paid right. But our men and women in service aren't paid right.
No. It's not an excuse for vasectomy.
I don't. Well, that's you, Marilyn. But that's the person. That's you, Marilyn. That's you, and that's your opinion. Okay. But for that veteran, that's the decision they made, whether you consider it stupid or not.
His face.
Well, you can tell him.
I have no problem with that.
That's fine.
You're talking about that's just like, because I'm in the military, okay, so now I'm going to go and get on all the drugs that they got. Veterans do that too.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
They do that too.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. So, really? But these are the choices we make. We make our choices. I could be in the same situation if he was in, if I chose to be.
Right.
But I chose not to.
Yeah, I chose not to either, but still. Yeah, so still, it's sacrifice.
That ain't no sacrifice.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's a man-made. It's a sacrifice he made.
It's a sacrifice he made by enlisting the U.S. military.
The Army. And the Army ain't tell him go out there and have 50 million babies.
Yeah, the Army don't pay you enough to have one. The Army does not pay you to have one. I'll go along with that. Well, shit, they don't pay enough for one, let alone 3, 4, 5, or 9, like the Supreme Court Justice.
Okay, and you know this.
Yeah, but they should. Yes, my point is pay them right from the get so that they can afford to live and not have to go to the base housing to get food stamps and other support. Any comments on this, Steph? Any comments, Steph?
I was going to say it's ridiculous, and they're cutting down or cutting out the military from receiving food stamps. It's too embarrassing.
They're cutting down what?
Food stamp.
Oh, yeah. Well, now you can't get that. And don't think that you'll buy anything that looks like shrimp or lobster, because if you think you're going to buy something like that, you're not going to do it with food stamps. They're telling you can't do it.
Well, that's it. You need food.
That is food.
Basic food.
Still, that's basic food.
And it gets me is they still have the same needs. Their kids still want to eat.
Mm-hmm.
They can't. And if you look at the airmen, at least on Beale, when they go on deployment and they lose their separate rats.
Yeah.
The kids really suffer the lack of resources. And the children envy those who are on the free food program because their families can't afford it. And they work.
And these are the people who are currently in service.
Precisely. And they're the ones.
Well, it's just as bad for the veterans that come out as well, because a lot of them left with even less. if they don't put in their claims, they don't do what they're supposed to do, they don't follow up on that process, a lot of them lose out. This is how we end up with so many at the river bottom. This is how we end up with so many at the river bottom up in Northern California. Those who live along the LA River in Los Angeles, and there's big homeless encampments. These things are distressing to see, especially when you know that there's abandoned houses in California, enough to house veterans, but the prices of the homes are so out of control, you can't afford to buy.
I know, can you imagine the game changer it would be if we could make available a 2,000 square foot home for just over $60,000,
It would be wonderful if you could make that type of home available for just under $60,000 in California. But the result of it is that the average closing price on the home in the state is around $475,000.
The problem is the land to put it on, the permits in Sutter County, a permit for a single family home. We're talking $40,000 for an apartment complex. You're thinking, okay, that's what, a dozen units, 8 units, maybe more. It starts at $2 million. A bunch of people around here decided they were going to control the rental market, and they got it together, and that's what they decided. And they decided, we're going to call it impact fees for the sewer hookups and all that. It's the big people like at Lincoln West. What they did is they decided to take over our Hillcrest Water, and instead of 22-inch pipe, increase it to 24-inch pipe, which doesn't sound like much, but that's what they needed to service their area. And they got the taxpayer to fund it. And then the fire, because if you have more than, 3 or 4 homes, you're called a subdivision, and you are required to have a fire department, within so many feet or blocks or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So we took over the volunteer fire department that had a 4-star rating out of 4 stars, by the way.
Wow.
And a fraction of the cost, they took it away from them. And merged it with Yuba City Fire Department, where they starting pay is $160,000 for one of the poorest counties in the area.
For the fire department?
Yeah, they get more than the cops do.
I mean, it's so I could. Now they put you high. Good Lord.
No, that's fire. That's not military. That's fire.
What I'm saying is the cost of government. The reason why houses are so ridiculous. We can solve our veteran homeless problems. We can give every veteran who wants a home, and we can have them, pay, a small amount when they have their benefits or they have a job. Certainly a fraction of what a regular one. All we have to do is, like I said, land and permits. That's it.
Do y'all get tax breaks? Property tax breaks?
They do give some tax forgiveness. I don't know if it's that much. I think it's like $210,000. They forgive.
It's $110,000 exemption. The first $110,000 of value on your home could exempt if you're 100% disabled veteran.
So if your house is worth $350,000, you get to take the $110,000 as an exemption, and so whatever's remaining on that. So let's say if it's a $350,000, you would have $240,000 left, and you would be taxed at the rate of $240,000 as opposed to $350,000. So
correct.
You get a little bit of an incentive, but it's not that great.
But if we could just get the government out of the way,
Yeah, New Jersey,
so we could
too.
get home.
Yeah, because, I mean, Maryland gets the whole thing. If you're in Maryland, the state of Maryland, you get the whole tax break for the house.
And they give you retroactive pay.
And retroactive pay. What do you mean? How do they do that?
They give you pay. They give you like a year or 2 years of your money back that you don't pay it in the property taxes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they'll go back a year or two in your retroactive pay. So if you're 100%, and they don't catch it for the first year or two.
No, as soon as it go in effect, you'll get.
Oh, as soon as you get the 100%,
and the tax break is approved. As soon as you get to 100%, and they approve the tax breaks, you don't pay no property taxes, and then you get a reimbursement. That's what it is. I think 2 years reimbursement that you have put into your taxes. Get that back. That's what I was told.
yeah. Well, see that is a big help. Now, I was finding out that the state of Delaware has absolutely nothing for veterans. They have a Veterans Affairs Department, but as far as like anything, as far as your automobiles, tax breaks.
We just got it last year. Vincent Gray gave us the registration tax fee, registration tax breaks. We just got it.
Yeah, and I know that D.C. used to have a 5-year tax statement if you were a disabled veteran and bought a home.
I ain't never heard of that.
Yeah, that they evaded the taxes. This was back in 2004. It would have expired by now.
You don't know that?
No, because it did expire. I don't know that it's back. I'm not a realtor, but
I don't know either.
But the thing is that they gave you the tax abatement, which helped the payment to go down on the house.
Well, if you lived in your home for, I believe they say 40 years, you tax exempt anyway.
Wow.
But a lot of people don't know that. That's what I'm talking about. They don't tell us. I found out when I found out about the registration break last year.
Oh, wow. So if you've lived in your home for 40
years, then you're supposed to be tax exempt in the District of Columbia, according to the Department of Motor Vehicles. Yep.
Wow. Now that's a big one.
But don't nobody. That's why I can't understand. Put out their home 60 years, 40 years in their home, and they get. Unless that's something new.
Unless they go out and take out a mortgage.
But I'm saying though, if you've been in your home for 40 years,
you don't have to pay that property tax.
you shouldn't. That's what I was told from the director of the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Wow.
And one of the supervisor at the motor vehicles here.
Well, see, you have to go about and find out what's going on in your area. And the best place to find that out is to talk to Veterans Affairs.
But see, DC has
not necessarily the best.
That's right.
Doing.
Got that right. You hear from veterans, us.
Exactly, which is why we share among ourselves, because remember, the official line has nothing to do with the truth and reality.
Not when it comes to veterans.
Quite the opposite. For instance, Calvet, they were saying that at
You're breaking
homes and farms, and what it was is to change the way to get so they could have the money, and then
you're breaking up.
For other.
Grabbing my leg.
I'm sorry, my signals kind of suck.
Huh?
I said my signals sometimes get really sucky.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we have to do a better job. We have to do a better job. We have to do a better job of. What are you doing? Stop. You have to do a better job of taking care of our veteran family. And we have to talk to them to find out what's going on. This is why it's important that we have radio shows like ADVIA.